It's one of these items that you maybe have never made because it's highly available at the store and it might look a little bit intimidating. That's puff pastry. But we've conquered so many recipes on this channel, so I think we should really try to make puff pastry today. And let me tell you, it is not difficult. You need high quality ingredients, that's for sure. But really, what you need is time, because it takes very long, and that's why most people don't do it. Nothing has ever stopped us before. So today, we're making puff pastry. Let's get cooking. In pastry, like in cooking, the first step is to measure all the ingredients. It will make the rest of the recipe going a lot smoother. So let's gather all that and we're gonna start working on the détrempe. That's the dough that's going to encapsulate our butter. Let's do it.
And I'm very fortunate using some T45 from Bagatelle flour from France, but you could use an AP flour or bread flour if you don't have any available. And I will start by sifting the flour on top of a piece of parchment paper, which will make carrying it a lot easier, as you can tell. I will then place it in the bowl of my stand mixer. I'll then add some fleur de sel from my hometown. We'll also add some apple cider vinegar, some water, and we'll hook up the machine with the hook attachment, and we're gonna let it go until it kind of start to form a mass. I will then add my Sandbridges butter that I've melted, but it's actually still cold. I will then mix the dough until we have something shaggy just like that. Time to place it on the bench, and we're gonna rework it until we have something much smoother. It should take about 3 to 4 minutes until you have that result. Once we've done so, it's time to rest it. But first, I'm gonna grab my knife and I'm gonna cut the dough in a quarter like so and push the angle so we already have some sort of a square, and it's also gonna relax the gluten. I'll then wrap in plastics ready for the next step.
Okay, so now we're gonna leave the détrempe, this dough, into the fridge to rest for at least an hour. All right, so our dough is almost rested. We're gonna start working on the barage. The barage is that square of butter that we're gonna incorporate, that sheet, into our first dough, the détrempe. For that, I made a little square of 15 centimeters, about 6 inches square, and we're gonna put the butter within there and we're gonna tap it and roll it until we have a uniform block. Let's make that now.
The idea is to have a pliable one single mass, so when we start the lamination, we don't have to deal with many pieces of butter that will start to go everywhere in the dough, just like so.
Now we're going to leave a little block of butter, the barrage, into the fridge until it hardens, about 15 minutes. Our butter is almost ready, almost set, so we're going to take our, remember the name, the détrempe, and we're going to start rolling it about 25 centimeters square, around 9 inches.
The key here is to have our dough and our butter at about 6 to 7 degrees Celsius this whole time while we're working with it. So if it gets too warm, you can always put it back in the fridge so it cools down. If the dough resists and stretch back, honestly, all it needs is to be cooled down again and to relax. Once we have a 25 by 25 measurements, we're gonna add the butter in opposite direction like a diamond, and we'll then fold the ear of the détrempe over the butter to kind of like encase it like a book so we don't see any butter. Feel free to kind of make some magic and join everything together. It's very important so the butter doesn't escape at all.
So now we're about ready to do the lamination process, okay, the feuilletage. This is the encapsulation of the butter, and we're gonna start folding it so we create dough, butter, dough, and we're gonna repeat that, so that's why we're gonna have all these beautiful layers. Technically, it's supposed to be 6 single fold, okay? But I like to do 4 double fold. Why? Because you get more folds, and also, I like to save time. So let's do it.
We'll start to flour it lightly on a bench on every steps, but make sure you don't have too much. It's just enough so it doesn't stick. Then we're gonna push it down with a rolling pin, but not too much to crush the little layers. Then we'll roll it. The idea is to get something that's quite large enough, about like 4 to 5 millimeter in thickness. So roll it until we have that. Then we're gonna cut the ends. That will make the layers a lot more beautiful than if you have some dough missing. We'll flip it about 1/3 and then over itself, and one more time to create our first double fold, just like so, making sure that everything is nice and packed and tight. We'll then place it back on the saran wrap for the next step.
So we done our first fold, our first double fold. We have 4 together in total, okay? So we're gonna leave that in the fridge for at least 30 minutes, but preferably about an hour. Into the fridge it goes, I'll take a nap. Right. It's been about an hour since we did our first double fold. I'm now going to work, as you guessed, on a second double fold, all right? There will be a total of 4 double fold, as I mentioned. So I'm gonna show you the second one, and then we'll repeat 3 and 4. I'm not gonna show you on camera because it's the exact same thing. After a 4th fold, we're gonna leave that in the fridge overnight. So before I do that, I will catch you again.
This is kind of a step and repeat. We're gonna flour the dough. Also make sure you always roll in the opposite direction as you did before. Same process, lightly push the dough down and we're gonna roll it, making sure it's not sticking, and also alternating from one side to the other. So we make sure we have the most even dough. That's the hard part about lamination. We'll then cut the end and repeat the same process as we did before, put it back in the wrap, and we'll repeat that for another 2 times, making sure we let it rest for at least an hour in between fold. Make sure when you press it down too, you're not pushing it. The idea is to make sure we have a mark, and we can put 2 fingers because that's the second turn, then 3 for the third and 4 for the fourth.
It's a little bit later in the day now, you know, waiting time, nothing you can do about it, but our dough is finished, okay? It is 4 double fold. You could also alternatively do 6 single fold, all right? Either or, they both work. One thing I would recommend, this dough is now ready to be used. However, I would give it a 12-hour rest before I actually roll it down to whatever use I will have it for. And then even after I roll it, I like to give it a rest for another 2 hours before I cook it. So the gluten is nice and relaxed and those layers gonna be incredible. This is day 2 of pâte feuilletée puff pastry. Has been resting for now about 8 to 10 hours. I'm gonna roll it, let it rest, and then we'll bake it.
I'm actually gonna split my dough in half, and you can see all the beautiful layers we worked on, and I'm gonna place the rest in the freezer. Once again, lightly flour dough, and it's really the same exercise, but this time we can actually not just roll it one way, you can roll it in both directions, up and down, so we create a large rectangle. Once again, make sure you don't push too hard so we don't crush those beautiful feuillets, those layers. Once we've done so, I'm gonna grab a sharp blade and I'm gonna trim the edges so we have a perfect rectangle. You can make something with all the trim. Personally, I just bake them and they are the perfect snack. And look at all this beautiful layer. I'm just gonna cut one small piece just so you can see kind of what it looks like, but the rest I'm gonna put on top of parchment paper, and I'm gonna roll it around for the next time I use it. You can even put it in the freezer. It's the perfect way to do it when it's actually flat. We'll then bake our dough for about 25 minutes at 350, 180 Celsius, and look at that puff. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna now remain silent so you can hear the beautiful crunch.
And that's it. That's puff pastry. It's simple. It just takes quite a bit of time. But let me tell you, have you ever had the result from store-bought puff pastry? I highly doubt it. So from now on, you'll only do one thing, make your own, leave it in the freezer, take it out whenever you need it to. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you on another one, making another item, maybe of your choice. Let me know in the comments, what would you like me to do for you next? The recipe will be in the comments below, as per always. In the meantime, bon appétit, and I will see you soon.